John Fredericks, America's Godzilla of Truth. He's popular and proficient in picking politics with prophetic precision. And now J. Fred's picking sports. Are y'all ready for this? All across the airwaves and streams of the John Fredericks Media Network, John, Jack, and Nate, three guys that are pretty wise when it comes to picking winners. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, golf, UFC battles, you name it. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Before you make that play, hear what J. Fred has to say. Godzilla Wins on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Oh yeah, for entertainment purposes only.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 72 of the Godzilla Wins Pick Show. I am joined by John Fredericks, the Godzilla of Truth, and our senior assistant editor, bon vivant of Godzilla Wins, Dan Angel, doing a little bit of everything right now. We have a loaded show. We have college basketball. We have some of the sort of last tournaments. I know there's a lot going in Hawaii. Dan probably hasn't slept in days with everything that's going on in Hawaii. Sleep for days longer with the bowl game coming up tonight as well.
I'll be there too.
We have tons of bowl games to go over in this first hour, and then in the second hour, we will be joined by Mitch Rogers to talk the Steelers. We'll be talking all the rest of the NFL slate. We'll be joined by James Tillman to talk Bears and some NFL games. It's going to be a loaded second hour as well. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's get this out of the way now. Godzilla Wins and all its subsidiaries are for entertainment purposes only. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. If you live in Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, or Wyoming, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline-ma.org. If you live in Massachusetts, call 877-GHOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369 if you live in New York. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP if you live in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 if you live in Kansas or New Hampshire, 888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org if you live in Connecticut, or call 1-800-BETS-OFF if you live in Iowa, or visit opgr.org if you live in Oregon. Whew. All right,
let's get
the game. All right.
Okay, guys, don't forget on Godzilla Wins, man. You go to GodzillaWins.com. Nate and Dan, thanks for joining us. Dan, get no sleep here. Go to GodzillaWins.com. We got a new section there, daily picks. Just go there. That's going to give you everybody's picks every day, all outlined. You don't have to search for them. And it's got a rolling record. And now, I got you guys on the air. Dan, Nate, you got to go put your picks in the daily picks. Do your picks, do your columns. Just go right there. It takes a minute. That's it's just easy to follow. So go daily picks. The daily pick session at GodzillaWins.com is the hottest thing we have. And, you got to compete in there. So don't forget, you put your picks in. Everybody go to GodzillaWins.com. Daily picks every day. It's right there.
I plan to start putting them in after I get out of covering the Diamond Head.
That's right. I mean, but when you do your column, it's just like I've gotten to the point now with my quick picks is like when I post my column, I'm not done. I just go right to the daily picks. I put those in. I put a few comments, which is just a sampling of what's in my daily quick picks column. Then I'm done. I hit enter and I'm done. And then it's up. It's up there. So
yeah, and after you've seen John's picks on there, you should go to DraftKings. DraftKings, our longest and oldest partner. John, tell us what DraftKings is offering right now.
Well, you put in $5, you get $200 of free bets. All you got to do is download the free DraftKings app. Go to DraftKings.com, download their app, and a promo code Godzilla. Put in $5. Now, you can't even sit there with a straight face and tell me you're listening to the show and you don't have $5, right? You know you have $5. You've got $5, right? So take that $5, bet any of our games today, 4 against. You can fade me, bet me, fade Dan, Nate, whatever. Just make a $5 bet on Godzilla Wins with promo code Godzilla. Got to put that promo code in, and you're going to get $200 in instant free bets. I'll get all these games today. Why not have some fun with their money? It's house money. You can't go wrong. This is the best deal ever. And hey, if you don't want to go after that, fine. But you could turn that 200 into God knows what. So that's all you have to put 5 in. Promo code Godzilla to get $200 in free bets only at DraftKings. And if you're on it, follow the bonuses they have every day. I won a 4-team NHL parlay. I think it was Thursday night, maybe Wednesday night, Thursday night, right? Plus I had the bonus, which is with another 50%. $25 got me like $350. So you have a lot of fun with these things. $5 to get you $200. DraftKings promo code Godzilla.
All right. So we are at the college basketball quick picks section of our show. John, why don't you just lead us off and tell us what your quick picks are for today for college basketball before we dive?
I just got one quick pick. I'll have a little more on my column this afternoon that comes out. Johnny's quick picks, which you can get on Godzilla Wins when I put a little more time in some of the games. But the one that I like today, right off the bat, look, I live in Pittsburgh, so what happens in Pittsburgh? Dan knows. You follow the Penguins, you follow the Steelers, you follow Pitt, you follow Duquesne, and you follow Robert Morris. I mean, they're all within 7 miles of where I live. This Duquesne team, they're 3.5 point favorite today. They're playing Santa Clara University in Vegas. Duquesne is 3.5. They're 8-2 on the season. They won 4 straight. Santa Clara, decent team, but I just think Duquesne, they've been playing very, very. They've been playing very well right now. 4 straight wins in this Vegas tournament. They're only allowing 68 points a game, so I like Duquesne here. That's my best college basketball best bet of the day right now. But I'll have more up on Johnny's quick picks. But I like Duquesne -3.5 over Santa Clara this afternoon in Vegas.
I too will also be logging some picks in the Godzilla Wins picks tracker, but I don't have them yet because I've been feverishly getting ready for this show. So be sure and check the website and check those. Dan, I know you have some picks though. I know that you have some things that you were looking at today.
Yes, I do. So first one, probably my main one from today is going to be Alabama -24 against Eastern Kentucky. It's a huge number, but this is when Alabama gets the frustration out of their system because you look at who the Crimson Tide have been playing lately. They've lost their last 3, but they've played at Creighton, played in Toronto against Purdue, and played Arizona and Phoenix. And all of those were very competitive losses against very good teams. Eastern Kentucky, nowhere near that level. Alabama should come out and make a huge statement here. The 24 is not something to be afraid of in this situation. DePaul, I'm going to take them +6.5 in the first half against Villanova. What usually happens in this series is DePaul plays tough against Villanova for a half, and then Villanova creams them in the second half. But 6 of the past 8 meetings in this series, the margin has been 5 points or less at halftime. So I think DePaul can hang with Villanova for 20 minutes, and then beyond that, just take your money and get out. I'm going to take Memphis -16.5 against Vanderbilt. Memphis looked really, really good in routing Virginia, and if they were facing anybody else, I might be wary of a letdown here for the Tigers, but they're going to have their minds focused on this game because it's facing one of their Tennessee rivals and a school in Vanderbilt that's in the SEC. So Memphis comes into the series with a chip on their shoulder because they're the one school of the big 3 in Tennessee that isn't part of a Power 6 conference. So I think the Tigers come out ready to make a statement here. And then finally, I'm going to go with Mississippi State -2.5 against Rutgers. This game is at a technically neutral site. They're playing at the Devils Arena in Newark. And I think Mississippi State is just going to pound Rutgers on the glass. The Bulldogs get a ton of second chance points. That's been a theme of what I've been seeing in Hawaii with some of these teams. Like Nevada and TCU both won on Thursday because they absolutely brutalized their opponents, and I saw that play a big role in Temple against Old Dominion.
What if we told you?
What in the world is that?
My phone just
okay.
just popped on for some reason.
Okay.
Hey, you
I,
get
I was I was worried it was my computer.
Rutgers is the same basketball as foot. They just don't have any offense. Does any Rutgers team score in the country? Does their lacrosse team?
I think the women's team used to, but that was before Vivian Stringer retired.
Jeez.
So Dan, tell me about my Nevada Wolfpack. They're a team that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
The basketball team. I've watched them play.
I've been watching them all week, actually.
Yeah.
And Nevada has just brutalized teams with how they rebound the basketball. I mean, TCU, I got a really good look at TCU just dominating Old Dominion inside. The Frogs get a ton of second chance points. Nevada wasn't having it. Nevada rebounds the ball so well, they completely cut off TCU's biggest source of offense, and that's why they're going to be playing for the Diamond Head Championship on Sunday. And I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup with Georgia Tech, who also rebounds it pretty well, but I really like Nevada's chances in winning this tournament.
Yeah,
and I think that the fact that Temple played Nevada on Thursday was a big key to Old Dominion winning that game today, because Temple just had nothing left after spending 40 minutes against Nevada, and the way that they play, Temple shoots so many threes, they just had nothing left in their legs. So Old Dominion's strategy was basically just sit back, defend the paint, and let Temple shoot itself out of the game, which Temple did exactly that, going 12 for 38 from behind the arc. I don't know what the line's going to be on Sunday between Temple and Portland in the 7th place game, but I am probably going to take the Pilots, whatever the line is, because Temple cannot rebound the basketball at all.
Love it. All right. John, I know you're just chomping at the bit. Not everyone's thinking about baseball season in December. Most people aren't thinking about baseball season in December. It's Christmas time. You have a lot of things to be thinking about other than baseball in December right now. We have so many other sports. We have holidays with the family, Christmas dinner, opening presents. But I know John's thinking about baseball, and I know he's thinking about the Dodgers. Dan, feel free to chime in here. Dodgers been spending a little money if nobody's been paying attention. Open up the checkbook and spend about $1.2 billion on some players. John, what do you think about the Dodgers?
I mean, if you're a Dodger fan, it's Christmas come early. If you're any other fan of any other team, they're like the Grinch. I mean, they spent, get this, guys, the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team, whatever that is made up of, their ownership and investors, they spent $1.2 billion in 7 days. $1.2 billion in a week. I mean, this is an incredible amount of money. They're just trying to buy the championship. You know, look, we can go into the whole salary cap thing, and I'm a capitalist. I get it. These guys are making an ungodly amount of money. The Dodgers decided they've had enough. They have this great franchise. They want to win. They think they can, monetize it over time, I guess. But here's what it means for the average non-Dodger baseball fan, right? You now have a new enemy. You now have a new team that you hate. So you root against them every single game, just like I do with the Yankees and the Mets. You just root for them to lose. And then when they get beat in the first round by, Arizona or Colorado or somebody, you're going to laugh your ass off again. I mean, look, I get the Shohei thing, and I get the Glasgow trade. That's just baseball. I mean, Tampa figured they had enough. The manager, Cash, couldn't stand him. They fought all the time. The guy's a little snot nose anyway, so they just got him out of the organization. They got some good players. That made sense for Tampa and for the Dodgers. But this young fellow they signed, 170 pounds, 25 years old, to that level of that contract, and he's never thrown a pitch in Major League. He's never faced a Major League hitter in a Major League ballpark. He's never faced a AAA hitter. Now, I know Japan is pretty good, but we got a lot of also-ran players that go there, become stars, and come back. A lot of them do this. So it's not the same level of competition. Maybe it's AAA, but this guy's never thrown a pitch, and you're going to give him, what was it, $350 million or something over a 10-year period. And, he's a skinny little guy. He's 5'10", 175. Yes, he's got good stuff. His arm can blow out in May, and you're done. So you know what? Let the Dodgers sign them. The proof is in the pudding. You got to play 162 games. You got to play playoff games, Grapefruit League games. You play about when the whole thing is said and done. If you make the playoffs, you're playing over 200 games. That's why baseball is still the greatest sport. You got to play 162 games. Let's see how they make out. I hope they lose. I hate them, and so does a lot of other fans. And they're destroying the game by doing this. So screw the Dodgers and all your freaking money.
Yeah, so the Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani, and that quickly became old news when they signed free agent phenom Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who John is talking about. 5'10", 170 pounds. He's got to be Joe's favorite player right now as soon as he starts pitching. I mean, that's just...
Well, I mean, Joe's 5'9", and he weighs way more than 175. Way more. I don't want to give his weight out, but it's not my place to do that. But I could just say that is significantly over 175. So you got to hold up. You're pitching every 4 or 5 games in the heat. You got to hold up, and we'll see what happens. He's a skinny little guy. He doesn't really do weights. We'll see what happens.
Dan,
but it was good for the Dodgers, but it's bad for baseball, and screw the Dodgers. Go ahead, Dan.
I mean, in the American sports system, this doesn't really guarantee much of anything because, like, the way that we have it set up, the playoffs are such an unpredictable beast that you get 2 good starts from 2 different pitchers, and you can wipe out an entire season that quickly. So, like, over the course of 162 games, the best team is always going to win, but over the course of a 5 or a 7 game series, anything can happen, and I don't think this guarantees really anything but an NL West title for the Dodgers, and anything after that, it's really kind of a crapshoot. Like, they're putting themselves in position to do well, of course, but anything can happen. I mean, this isn't like Bayern Munich or Manchester City buying a title because the way that European seasons are set up, there is no playoffs, so everybody just plays everybody twice. So money does talk in those leagues. Here, it helps, but it doesn't mean everything.
Yeah, and the Dodgers just seem comically low right now. I mean, they're around 450 in the futures market right now, plus 450 if you want to bet on them. That's that's just silly. I think that if anything, all this is doing is adding some value to some pretty elite teams, sort of in that second tier of odds.
Yeah.
Yankees,
well, you look at money. Look at the Mets.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, all the money they spent, they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that this bet right now. I'm going to make this today. This is going to be the league winner. I'm going to bet Atlanta. What are they? They're plus 380 in the National League, right? Dodgers are plus 180. I'm going to go ahead and bet Atlanta today at plus 380. Just out of protest, and I think that I think.
And you're not an Atlanta guy.
And I can't stand Atlanta either. National League, I don't care who wins that, but I'm going to bet Atlanta plus 380, a protest bet, and just so they come back and beat them. I hate the Dodgers, and look, I hope San Diego gives them a run. I hope Arizona gives them a run, but spending $1.2 billion in a week, this is just like in your face, and it's bad for the game. But look, they got to do what they got to do. But now they got to go out and win games, and they're going to get injuries. Who knows? I don't think the team, even with these players, they still don't have any pitching. And this guy is totally unproven. I mean, he could be complete bust. No one knows. We'll see. Cole was different. When the Yankees gave Cole that money, you knew what you were getting. I mean, the guy is a stud. His work ethic is one of the top in the game. The guy lifts weights. He's got arm strength. He's got body strength. He's 230 to 220, 25. you know what you were getting with him if his arm staying's out.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're getting with this young fellow from Japan. So we'll see. It's a gamble.
And John, you're absolutely right that they really don't have any pitching with this for sure, because Tommy John, he's not going to be pitching at all next year. So,
and then Glass now is, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, that's the other thing with him. And Kevin Cash just got tired of the guy. He got tired of his attitude, got tired of his nonsense. He got tired of Snell. I mean, you look at a franchise like Tampa Bay. They're in my AL, obviously, so I don't like them either. But you got to have respect for Cash in this organization. If they don't like a player, they just get rid of him. They don't care. They want that tight-knit clubhouse.
Nobody's watching in Tampa anyway.
Nobody.
That's right.
It's
all right.
Sad. It is.
And nobody's probably listening to us talk baseball in December either. So let's go ahead and move on to some games that are actually happening in the next 4 months, and talk about some football. We have a ton of football, but above all, I guess, the Dodgers are going to need to stay healthy to be relevant in this. One way they could do that, John, is using a little Healthy Cell. Why don't you tell us about Healthy Cell?
Well, I got Healthy Cell right here. I got to pull out of my pocket, right? Because I got to take, first of all, check this out, called Focus and Recall. Just go to healthycell.com. I take this every day. I take two things. I take, three. I take joint and pain, REM sleep at night, but I take Focus and Recall. Now, if you're like Nate and Dan and you're in your millennials in your early 30s or 30s, you don't really need this. But you get a little get a little older, right? You start forgetting things, as Dan points out. I garble half the names. Half the name. I'm still calling Philadelphia's Veteran Stadium or whatever I do. The other day I told somebody, I enjoyed my game at Heinz Field. They're like, what? Where's that? I'm like, Pittsburgh. No, they changed that like 7 years ago.
They changed it this year. That one is actually forgivable.
So that if I call it Heinz Field, I'm all right.
Yeah. Veteran Stadium has been blown up for 20 years.
The Astros do not play in the Astrodome. That much
Yeah.
I got. But you take this Focus and Recall. You know who turned me on to this, guys? For those of you that follow politics out there, my good friend Doug Collins, former congressman, ran for Senate in Georgia, defended Trump. He's the guy that turned me on to this, and it's really made a difference. I've not garbled names in like 3 weeks since I've been taking, or 2 weeks since I've been taking this. Focus and Recall. Just go to healthycell.com. Sharpens your brain, gets you focused. Focus and Recall. Healthycell.com/Godzilla. 20% off. My friends on Getter. Check this out, right? Take it about 2 weeks. You're really going to see a difference like I have.
All right. Let's get into the first bowl game that we'll be discussing. We have the Birmingham Bowl. A little bit of a home game for Troy. They're coming in after 11-2 season. They are facing off against a Duke team that has really hit the skids. Tons of roster turnover, coaching turnover, blah, blah, blah. In addition to sort of limping into the postseason with a 7-5 record. Troy is a 7-point favorite over Duke. It's not often that you see a Sun Belt team in a bowl game as a 7-point favorite over an ACC team, but that's where we're at now. Dan, why don't you just go ahead and give us a little bit about this game? What do you see? What do you like?
I mean, Duke went 0-4 on the road in the ACC. They have not covered outside of the Raleigh-Durham triangle. They managed to lose to a bowl-ineligible Virginia, and they're missing their quarterback, their running back, their coach. Their interim coach already has a deal, I think, to join Mike Elko at Texas A&M after this is over. I mean, where's the motivation from Duke? Meanwhile, Troy still has Gunnar Watson, and I think the Trojans are going to be very motivated to get a win over a Power 5 team and do it in front of their fans in Alabama. So I really like Troy in this situation.
I'm going opposite on you here, Dan. One of us is going to win this game. I think it's up to 7.5. I already bet Duke because I don't want to go down to 7. Troy won 10 games, right? They didn't beat anybody, Dan. They beat nobody, right? They played two good teams. They played what? They played JMU, got got beat. I don't think that much of James Madison. Then they played Kansas State. They got beat like 48-17. So they got absolutely annihilated there. Yes, Duke's got transfer portal. Coaches are gone, but this is still a legit ACC team when they were playing well. So look, I know a lot of their players are gone, their coaches are gone, but and Duke's got a lot of guys in the transfer portal. I just don't see Troy being 7.5 over an ACC team as bad as Duke has played when they haven't beaten anybody. So yeah, go ahead and beat Duke. Prove me wrong. I'm good. You got your 10 wins, but until you beat somebody, no, I'm out. I'm going with Duke as the dog.
I think I have to agree with Dan here. I mean, I think that Troy's got to be the play. I kind of like a sneakier way to play it, though, if you're thinking about it. I mean, the problems for the Blue Devils are just, well documented at this point. Quarterback gone, head coach gone. To begin to list the defensive players that are gone would take us for the rest of the segment. I think that Troy, in bowl games, I guess it should be noted, now that we're really into sort of bowl game season and we're into sort of the funky bowls, is bowl games often come down to this sort of nebulous thing that's not often quantifiable for guys that typically are just looking at numbers, which is some teams just kind of want it more in the bowl season, right? It's hard to tell what these rosters are going to look like with the advent of the transfer portal. And Troy just has so much more continuity than Duke does. Duke just doesn't look like a team, to me, that is really that interested in going to Birmingham, Alabama, and playing Troy in basically a home game in the background. The way that I kind of like to play it is Gunnar Watson's at 227.5 passing yards right now. That's the prop. I love him to go over. Duke has been soft against the pass all season. Gunnar Watson is, really an elite quarterback for a non-Power 5 school. PFF grades him out as a top 20 quarterback. I think he easily goes over. I think he shows out. He goes well over 227 passing yards in a big victory for Troy here. Dan, do you have any thoughts on that prop? Do you like that prop? I like that a little bit better than Troy.
I think that makes a ton of sense.
They get there. What's that?
Yeah, I really like that play.
Yeah, so that's sort of how I'm going to play it. I think that if Troy's going to cover, Gunnar Watson's going to have a big day. So I'd rather just take Gunnar Watson to have the big day and not leave the back door open for a cover there. So that's where I'm at with that play. John, we're just waking up to bowl season. Maybe people need to wake up to Beard Vet coffee. What's going on with Beard Vet?
Well, if you're not drinking Beard Vet coffee, here's my question. Why depriving yourself one of the best things in life, right? Let's go to beardvet.com. I drink it I just ordered, for my, don't forget, our Trump bus tour, Mega Bus Tour. You go to megabustour.com. We start in Des Moines, Iowa, January 8th. Go to all the cities in Iowa. Then we'll go to New Hampshire. Then we'll go to South Carolina. Guess what I just got? I got 10 boxes of Beard Vet. I got 10 bags of Beard Vet coffee. I got 10 boxes of the K-Cups. I got 10 bags of Beard Vet ground coffee because we're going to be firing that thing up at 4 a.m. in the dark in Iowa. We're going to be freezing cold. Got to get your Beard Vet, baby. Go to beardvet.com. Proud sponsor here of Godzilla Wins. George Kenny Lee. Just had Kenny Lee on my show the other day. These guys, Afghanistan, Iraq, getting blown up, seeing their friends get maimed. They said, if we ever make it back, we're going to make the best coffee ever, and we're going to make it affordable. That's why I love these guys. Plus a percentage, whatever they do, goes to veteran organizations. This is the best coffee you're going to have. I'm having it now in my Titans cup right here, right? See the Titans cup, Beard Vet. Go to beardvet.com, even though we're out of the playoffs, so we suck. Go to beardvet.com, promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Order over $50, free shipping, right? Order like four boxes of K-Cups or for four or 5 bags, free shipping now. They've got new dark roast in the K-Cups coming out in January. Check this out. Just go to beardvet.com, beardvet.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Thanks, guys. Best coffee ever.
All right. We're staying in Alabama for this next game.
We're going to be in Iowa.
Yeah. That's going to be fun for you going through all those small towns in January.
It's going to be we have downtime and snow time built into the schedule. So if it snows, we just stay wherever we're parked, we stay there. But we did this in 2020, and we were very fortunate. It was very cold, but
Yeah.
not any snow, and it was and this is not like Atlanta, right? When it snows, and I mean it snowed a couple times. The salts are down, the highways are clean. It's not like being in the South where they talk about snow and everything shuts down for 3 days. So
Yeah,
a little bit
it's
different.
more wind. It's more wind than snow in the winter in Iowa.
Yeah. So and then we got to go to
I remember those days.
Then we got to go to New Hampshire. So we go from Iowa.
Yeah.
And that's like a 3-day drive. So we got to go to Des Moines to Manchester. I'm not taking that ride because I can't be there for 3 days. So I'm just flying there. But our other driver and the bus, he's going to leave on Tuesday afternoon, and he's not expected to get there till Thursday night. It's a long ass drive.
All right, we are headed to another bowl game in Alabama. The other noon Eastern time start is between 6-6 Northern Illinois coming out of the MAC versus 6-6 Arkansas State coming out of the Sun Belt. This is an exciting matchup for everyone who is a fan of these teams, I suppose, in Montgomery, Alabama. Arkansas State's a 3-point favorite. They're minus 105, so a little bit of reduced juice there. The total is 54.5. John, I'll let you lead this one.
I love Northern Illinois in this game. I'm getting 3. I can't believe it. I lay 3. I just think they're a better team. Both teams are 6-6. But here, guys, this opens up a bigger discussion about the transfer portal and everything that's going on. So get this, right? The Northern Illinois quarterback, Rocky Lombardi, is in his seventh season in college football. 7.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old. And he's going against true freshman, not redshirted, true freshman Jalen Ranyan, who's 18. The guy's 25.
Rayner. All right, we botched the name. Rayner,
right? Jalen. I did botch your name. Rayner, 20. He's 18 years old. 25 versus 18. 1 year versus 7 years. And look, I just love Northern Illinois in this game. Their defense is for real. Arkansas State, another team like Troy. You look at these; they're 6-6, and they didn't play anybody. So I look at Arkansas State. I'm like, you didn't play anybody, and you got 6 losses. Like, how the hell that happened? You had a terrible schedule. The Huskies in Northern Illinois actually have a defense. Arkansas State's defense is horrible. 31.2 points a game they're giving up against weak sister competition, right? Basically FCS type teams. This thing is not even going to be close. And I'm getting 3. Oh my God. My favorite saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Jump on this. Northern Illinois with their veteran 7-year college quarterback. Even the name Rocky Lombardi. How can you bet against him?
Dan, tell John
Well,
why he's wrong.
Well, because he's had a lot of injuries. So I've actually covered him a few times. So I'm covering Northern Illinois in the past. But yeah, I do have to go with the Huskies here. I think that this matchup sets up really well for Northern Illinois. Arkansas State does not have a very good defense, and one name to remember is Rocky Lombardi's favorite target, Trayvon Rudolph, who has gone for some very big games when he's been able to stay healthy. Had one game where against Central Michigan where he went for 170 receiving yards, and against this Arkansas State defense, I think he's going to have a lot of space. They love to hook up when things are working. Like, it's pretty nice to see. So Northern Illinois, I think +3 is the right pick here.
I'll be the lone dissenter then. I kind of like Arkansas State here. I like Arkansas State just because I think that there are some continuity problems with Northern Illinois. I worry about them being able to protect Rocky Lombardi. The center, Pete Nigra, he already entered the transfer portal. He's going to Louisville. So what they're going to do at center is move the right guard over, who's played well over 2,000 snaps at right guard in his career at Northern Illinois, and they're going to make him play center for the first time in his career, in his college career. So I worry about some offensive line continuity issues. I worry Northern Illinois won't be able to sort of run the ball as effectively as they normally would. So that's sort of my concern. I I feel like Arkansas State kind of found some of those last couple games. I mean, they just blew the doors off of Louisiana and Texas State to kind of close out the season. They scored bazillion points in both of those games. I just feel like Arkansas State sort of found themselves late, and maybe Northern Illinois is going to be trying to kind of figure out what they're doing as a team with some of this roster turnover. So I'll be the lone dissenter. John and Dan on Northern Illinois. I like Arkansas State. So
Don't forget to put it in your daily picks.
absolutely. Okay, so we're moving on. We are going to the Armed Forces Bowl. We have James Madison making a bowl game. They are a 1.5 point favorite after their sort of shocking season. And they are playing the triple option attack of Air Force, who is a 1.5 point underdog. The total is fairly low at 40.5, reflecting both the elite defense of James Madison and the fact that Air Force doesn't do anything that moves the ball through the air. Dan, you lead us off here. What's the play?
So I'm a little worried because of James Madison getting crushed by the transfer portal. I really wish the NCAA would stop this whole nonsense of the transfer portal opening up during the bowl season. Like, just move it to February. Where is the harm in that? But anyway, that said, something went out of this Air Force team right before the Hawaii game. When they lost to Army, something changed, and then Hawaii, not a team known for its run defense, simply manhandled Air Force. And Air Force hasn't been the same ever since. So I still think James Madison has enough left to pull this out, but I really like the under here. I just don't see these teams moving the ball all that well.
John?
Well, Dan, you're right on a lot of things here. And I agree with your assessment. Look, we all get the transfer portal. It's now part of the game. Like NIL is part of the game, so you got to adapt. But I'm with Dan 100%. I mean, this thing should open up after the last ball game's over, and then it could open up. You got plenty of time. I mean, for football, nobody's. I mean, spring practice is like April or May or something. I mean, you got plenty of time for this. I mean, having guys leave before the bowl season, it's just very disruptive. I don't see the point in it. Like, I get the NFL thing. I get if you're going to go in the NFL draft and you think you're going to go in a decent round and you don't need a big game in the bowl games. If I had a son, I'd advise him to stay out, right? You have no upside. So I think everybody gets the economics of that. But this transfer stuff is horrible. By the way, before I get into this pick, Dan got up here. He went to the game. He got back at midnight, right? It's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
His time in Hawaii when he gets on. So he's a trooper he's assistant editor, writes columns, right? Nate's in Vegas. He gets up early. He's 3 hours behind. So he's getting up at 4. Okay, who's missing on the show? Oh, Jack, the editor-in-chief and the head of the company. Oh, where's he? Oh, he's at a ski resort with his girlfriend skiing in Colorado. So we're here working with no sleep, and my son Jack is sending me photos of him and his girlfriend on a ski lift somewhere in Colorado at a ski resort. So we're here working. He's on a ski resort. I just want to point that out. Just want to say that. But it does look.
I got paid to watch basketball today. I'm good.
Merry Christmas to my son Jack in a ski resort with his girlfriend. Life is good if you're Jack right now. Okay, where are we? What game?
We are on James Madison and Air Force.
Oh my God! Someday it's just going to be me and Dan on the show. Okay, JMU at Air Force. I'm going with Air Force. Look, JMU. Okay, their coach Kurt Signetti. I think I got his right. I get all the Italian names right.
Those are just locked in your brain.
all the Italian names. Tommy Cutlets, right? Coach Signetti. He leaves. He goes to Indiana. I don't know what the hell for. Like, who that would go to Indiana? He goes to Indiana. So Big Ten football, big coach, right? Takes half a staff with him. They got no coaches. So they got to go out on the street. This is a true story. They got to go out to high school. True story. They got to go out to high schools around the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia and find one-game coaches. True story. They have no coaches. We might as well send Dan out there to coach them. They got no coaches.
That won't end well.
They got 10 players entered the portal. See, this is the thing. JMU has a good season. Everybody's excited, and then they all get better opportunities. They all leave. I mean, it's kind of like the portal for some of these teams. They're turning everybody into the Pittsburgh Pirates, for heaven's sake. So they got all new coaches. Now Air Force, after going 8-0, they lost 4 in a row. But I'm a schedule guy. They played a better schedule. They are on paper healthy. So I get Dan's right. The Hawaii thing was a disaster. The Army thing was a disaster. They played like crap, but they've had a lot of injuries. Now everybody comes back, and Air Force pride. I'm going to go with Air Force +1. Dan, let me ask you something I didn't understand. I thought JMU was ruled ineligible for a bowl because they went up and from FCS. How did they become eligible? What happened?
So the rule is that they're ineligible unless there aren't enough six win teams that were eligible to fill all the slots. So there were 3 extra slots. So James Madison and Jacksonville State at that point were able to take 2 of the slots, and then the final one went to 5 and 7 Minnesota.
All right, so I'm going with. Thank you, Dan. So I'm going with Air Force +1.
I kind of like the Dukes here. I think that James Madison, they have a lot of guys entering the transfer portal. The difference for James Madison is this has been such a crazy season for them, probably exceeding most of their wildest expectations, that all the players that are important seem to be coming back for this game before they leave for greener pastures elsewhere. That includes Jordan McLeod, who's entered the transfer portal, who will stay for one last game with James Madison to try and close things out in style. I just think that defensively, I mean, it's just going to be really hard for Air Force to score. I mean, JMU is basically, first in most metrics related to defense against the rush. That's really all Air Force can do. Putting Air Force in a position where they need a pass is going to be really, really difficult. I just like JMU here. I just think that they close out the season, in a classy way, the way they played all season. This is going to be a defensive slugfest. I don't think, the under is a crazy play. I just can't see either team just getting totally loose. But I like James Madison here to sort of squeak out the thing. So I like JMU. Dan, remind me your pick.
I'm taking Madison, and I'm taking the under.
And then John likes Air Force.
Air Force +1, baby.
All right. We are moving right along. We are headed to the long-anticipated Idaho Potato Bowl, where we have Georgia State taking on Utah State. Utah State is a small favorite. They're -1.5 over Georgia State. Total is pretty high, ticking up there. It's the highest one of the day, 59.5 total points. Who do we like here, guys? Let's lead off with Dan on this one.
I got to go with Utah State here. I think that this comes down to something that you touched on, Nate, on desire. I mean, Georgia State lost its final 5 games of the season, and most of those games were not particularly close. I mean, losing to LSU in a blowout, okay. Losing to James Madison in a blowout, okay. Getting routed by Georgia Southern and a down Appalachian State, not so much. And Utah State came up with 3 wins that they really needed to have to get to bowl eligibility. They're also playing in a familiar area, and Boise's not that far from Logan. This is a virtual home game for Utah State, so I like the Aggies here.
John, what do you like?
Utah State's got to be one of the best bets of the day, along with Northern Illinois. Dan nailed it. Georgia State lost five in a row. The Aggies are hot. So they won 3 of their last 4, I believe. I'm going from memory here. But Georgia State's another team. Just got decimated by this transfer portal. I mean, like every game we have, it's transfer portal, transfer portal, transfer portal. That's all we're talking about because it's part of these bowl games now because all these – you can't rate these teams based on half the players leaving. So – and coaches leaving and everything else that's going on in college football right now. But here's the other reason I love Utah State, Dan. Get this, right? You're going to love this one game. You ready? So – Georgia State, their pass defense is horrendous, even with all their players in. Right now, half of them are gone. An FCS school, Rhode Island, Did they have a football team? Yeah, I think they play like Fairleigh Dickinson and Ryder. Rhode Island, they're like FCS team, laid 408 passing yards on this team early in the season. Now, what do you think Utah State's gonna do? This thing is an absolute blowout. Lane 3, they're giving you this game. Love you, Utah State, as much as I love Northern Illinois today. -3.
My picks actually kind of piggyback off of both of these, but I have a little bit of a different angle, so I guess I will talk about it briefly. Yes, Georgia State is terrible against the pass. They have gotten gashed by teams that are not known for having terribly explosive offenses. Receiving, I mean, 2 receivers for Georgia Southern went for over 90 receiving yards against Georgia State. 2 receivers for App State went over 90 yards against Georgia State. 3 receivers for James Madison had over 55. I kind of like targeting, if you want to get a little sneaky and you like Utah State, the way they win is probably by just gashing Georgia State through the air. I would look really, really hard at Jalen Royals over 82.5 total receiving yards, or Terrell Vaughn over 65.5 total receiving yards. Those are the 2 top receivers for Utah State. Both of them will almost certainly feast and have gigantic chunk plays against a Georgia State team that allows a ton of explosive passing plays. And really has struggled to slow down any receivers that they've played so far this season. So if you like Utah State, I would also encourage you maybe to throw a little bit of money on some of these over in the receiving props, because that's probably Utah State's best path to victory. This feels a lot like a shootout to me. This doesn't feel as one-sided as John is making it feel. So the receiving props feel a little safer to me than just betting on a Utah State team.
And in defense of Rhode Island, Kasim Hill threw for 3,000 yards, and the Rams play in a very good FCS league in Colonial.
There we go. In defense of Rhode Island.
Yeah,
Next, we're moving further west. We're moving further and further west. We were just in Idaho for the Idaho Potato Bowl. Now we are moving to Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Bowl. We have a Northwestern team that, I don't know, is maybe finding themselves late after just a pretty dark season and a half in the wilderness of college football. They're playing a Utah team. The spread for this game, now that I got all these props pulled up and have to back out, spread for this game is Utah -6.5 against Northwestern. Totals 42, so we're not expecting a ton of offensive fireworks. John, lead us off on this Utah-Northwestern game. I know you have some thoughts about these teams.
You know, Utah's lost half its starters, basically. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but they've just lost, half their team's gone. And they're not the team they were at the beginning of the season, where a lot of us were on the Utes. Here's why I love Northwestern here with a 6.5. Nobody can disregard the fact this team has overcome tremendous adversity, right? They had the whole Pat Fitzgerald fiasco. They had the hazing in the spring practice, summer practice. They had to overcome all this stuff. And if you live in the Chicago area, I mean, my former company, the Tribune Company, Chicago Tribune, just basically skewered this team. And, all the reporters were there. They wanted to make an example out of them. I mean, this team has been through a lot. They really have. And they've just kind of hung in there. Utah's lost 3 of their last 5. They got guys out, some going to the NFL draft, some in the transfer portal. Meantime, Northwestern, very, very quietly, they play in the Big Ten, very quietly, not a lot of fanfare. They won 4 out of the last 5, and they covered their last 6 straight games. I think the players that are remaining on this team that went through everything they had to deal with this season, from a new coach and the hazing and the reporters and all the stories on them. Anyway, some of this stuff was pretty awful what went on there. They've overcome that, and I think they've proven themselves. Covered 6 straight, won 4 out of 5. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder. I'm going to take the 6.5 with the Wildcats here. In fact, I love them more as the day goes on. Ever have one of those games you look at it, you're like, yeah, I like Northwestern at like last night, and then today, and I got up, and now I'm thinking about it more. I like them more. So I think they're going to win this whole game.
I'm jealous of that mindset, John. I feel like every time I have a big, huge play, I just sit there and then I stare at it and then I like it less as the day goes on. So I
I'm the
love the
exact opposite.
opposite mindset. We're just two different people. Dan, what do you like in this game?
I'm going to say that I like the under here. I don't really love either offense. I mean, Utah just it's kind of a shame we'll never know what this team could have been if Cam Rising could have stayed healthy.
Yeah.
But their offense just got decimated, and Northwestern, their offense wasn't all that great dome anyway. So I think under is probably the play here.
I sort of like Northwestern too. I hate to agree with John on this show too much, but I think that Northwestern has to be the play. I mean, again, this is just going to be a common theme in bowl season. Like, which team wants to be here? This is not how Utah saw their season going at the beginning. I mean, we were talking about Utah being, legit Pac-12 contender. Right. They had Rose Bowl aspirations, potentially CFP stuff. And this isn't it. 6-6, playing a Northwestern team is not where they thought their season was going to go. I just can't imagine that they're as pumped for this game as Northwestern is, who, just came into this, storming into bowl season, feeling pretty good about themselves. Like John said, they've covered 6 straight. I think that they cover a 7th one in a row here.
And the way they've done it, guys, has been very quiet, right? Like, I mean, they're not like nobody's talking about them. I mean, they just kind of went out there and did business. I mean, look, you get into Northwestern, obviously, you got to have the grades, and so this is a very intelligent team that you have to be to go there. It's kind of like the Ivy League of the Big Ten. So, but it's been very, very quiet. It's character. I think this team has got character. That's why I really like him in this game. And hey, you know what? For those of you that want to fade me, newsflash: college basketball. I've won 10 of my last 11 picks. I was 7-0 on Johnny's daily picks the other day. I'm hot as a pepper. So all you guys out there, you want to fade me, do that at your own risk, because when I get hot, look out. I won 9 college basketball games in a row, and then went 1-1 yesterday. So that's 10 out of 11. So I'm just saying, got to be a little careful when you want to fade Johnny here. That's all.
You get
another
chance to fade the Senators today.
I should have bet. I bet he gets the Senators every single night on the road. I win. Doesn't matter. You lay 1.5 goals.
They're home today against the Penguins.
Well, I don't know. I haven't. The Penguins. Who knows? I mean, you just don't. It's like a box of chocolates, right? You open it up. Who the hell knows what you get? I had the Rangers last night, and they were down 4-1. I had to turn the game off. So whatever, right? They got beat, but we'll see what happens. My Johnny's Quick Picks comes out about 12:30, 1 o'clock every day. You can get that on Godzilla Wins. Go to GodzillaWins.com.
All right, final bowl game of our session right now. 10:30 Eastern time kickoff. This is going to be near and dear to Dan's heart. Are you going to this game, Dan?
Yes, I will be in the press box for this game.
How about all these games in Hawaii? Like when Dan went to Hawaii, we're like, oh my God, he's never going to see anything. The guy's got games. He's all he does is go to games. He's got bowl games. He's got Hawaii games. He's got college basketball tournament games. He's got all kinds of games to go to.
Yep.
So he's doing good down there in Hawaii. And by the way, we saw the picture of out your window. Wow, very nice. Yes, thank you for sending.
All right, so the Hawaii Bowl, we got San Jose State making a trip across the pond to Hawaii. They are a 10-point favorite against Coastal Carolina, who probably feels like they're traveling international to play this game. It's the longest trip any team will be making in the bowl season. They're a 10-point underdog, so San Jose State -10, Coastal Carolina +10. We have a total set at 48. Dan, why don't you take the lead in this, because I know you've been thinking about this game. You're going to be in the press box. Yeah. You live and breathe Hawaii sports right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy who really lives and breathes Hawaii sports is San Jose State's quarterback, Chevon Cordero, because he was the quarterback at Hawaii for 3 years, transferred to San Jose State this year, actually came back to Honolulu and pounded the Rainbow Warriors 35-0. That was Hawaii's first shutout loss at home since 1998. So San Jose State's already been here this season. They're pretty familiar with playing here. and they've got a chance to send their quarterback out a winner in his home city. I mean, that's all the motivation that you really need right there. So San Jose State has every reason to go all out here, and I think they do exactly that and cover this.
John, what do you think?
I don't like betting favorites in these bowl games, but this one in Hawaii, but you just can't bet Coastal Carolina. I mean, I have this philosophy. If you don't think the team can win, don't take the points. Either lay off it or bet the favorite. This thing has got blowout written all over it. This Coastal Carolina team has fallen apart early on. Remember they had Grayson McCall, who was supposed to. A lot of people thought he would go in the draft. Right, he got hurt, so he's out. But I just don't see them when who they beat. Army. I got to go with San Jose. Been there, done that. I'm going to lay the 10 with San Jose State here. It's the only bowl game favorite today I like.
I will go against you guys. I kind of like Coastal Carolina here.
Why?
Because I think that San Jose State struggles with tackling, and I think that Coastal Carolina will bring enough offense and enough sort of rushing explosiveness to make this at least competitive. I just can't see as many deficiencies as San Jose State has defensively. I just can't see them just running away and hiding from a Coastal Carolina team that's probably pretty motivated. Obviously, they have some questions at quarterback, but it's not like Ethan Vasco, who's going to be starting for Coastal Carolina. It's not like this is his first game. He started 3 games in November. He had 4 touchdowns against interception, and he gained 340 yards on the ground in 38 attempts. I mean, what he brings rushing the football is real. It brings a lot of explosiveness to this team. I don't think that they're just going to be a total dud out there, even though this is a really long travel, assignment for them. I just can't see them going out and laying an egg. Yes, San Jose State will be motivated. Yes, those storylines are real, but I don't know. There's just something about this Coastal Carolina team that I just kind of like. So that's sort of where
you get what you say makes a lot of sense. And if there's one thing that gives me hesitation is Coastal Carolina actually played a formidable schedule, right? I mean, a bunch of the teams they played are going into bowl games. I think other than Army that was not eligible because they got 6 wins against an they played good teams. I mean, they had a very good schedule. So, that's the only thing that gives me pause. And as I said, if I were to bet this game, I'd bet this would be my smallest bet. I just don't like laying points in these bowl games. They all tend to be close. I mean, you look at the game last night, everybody and their brother was all over, what was it, Florida? Was it, Dan? The Florida team, Central Florida.
Oh, Central Florida.
Yeah, everybody was all over UCF. Everybody was all over the over. Neither of them won. Georgia Tech kicked their ass. You just got to be careful these games. And one of the things you got to look at is conferences. I mean, Georgia Tech, they suck. They do play in a better conference. So, a lot of people I know bet UCF. I didn't touch that game. I didn't like it. Georgia Tech plus 6.5 wins the whole game easy after being down by 2 touchdowns early. So you just never know. These are tough games. Laying 10 in a bowl game in Hawaii, I wouldn't knock anything over to go make that bet.
All right, and thank you, Dan Angel, for joining us for college basketball and college football. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be back after a quick reset here with James Tillman to talk NFL, and then at the bottom of the hour at 6:30, we'll be joined by Mitch Rogers to talk more NFL. We will be back shortly.
You're listening to Godzilla Wins on the John Fredericks Media Network. For a deeper dive without the jive, visit the website of winners, GodzillaWins.com. Let's get back to the show with the guys in the know, John, Jack, and Nate. It's Godzilla Wins on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Welcome back to episode 72 of Godzilla Wins. I am your host, Nate Perry, filling in for Jack, who is on assignment in Colorado, hitting the ski slopes for Christmas. Hi, Jack. I'm joined by John Fredericks, the Godzilla of Truth. He'll be back as soon as he gets his Beard Vet coffee in his mug and back in front of the computer. We should also be joined by James Tillman III to talk a little bit of Bears and a little bit of other games. If you have a gambling problem, it's important to note that Godzilla Wins and all its subsidiaries are for entertainment purposes only. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. If you live in Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, or Wyoming, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline-ma.org or call 877-GHOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY 467-369 if you live in New York. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP if you live in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Kansas or New Hampshire, 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org if you live in Connecticut, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa or visit opgr.org if you live in Oregon. John, welcome back to the show. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's just get into it. Let's talk some football. We have games today. We have games tomorrow. We have games on Monday. It is just kind of a loaded slate for us here. I guess we just have games today and tomorrow. So let's get into it. We'll start off. We'll talk about the Bills and the Chargers. These are two teams headed in dramatically opposite directions, to say the least. The Bills are 12-point road favorite against the Chargers, who seem to be disintegrating in front of our very eyes. The total is set at 44 points. John, why don't you lead off? I know you have.
Well, let me just start out by telling everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, and want to thank our team here at Godzilla Wins, who's doing a fabulous job. It's at the end of the year. You really want to just look at what you've done and look at what Godzilla Wins has done. We built a really, really solid audience. We have a huge following. This thing started as a blog that everybody made fun of. And now we have a formal operation and the leadership of my son, Jack, in making this happen. Scott Harlan, our IT guy, all of our writers and contributors, James Tillman, who's with us now, of course, Dan Angel, who you just saw. We've got Mitch. We've got so many that have made this show so successful. But I want to give a shout out to Nate also, who's in Vegas. Reno, which is 3 hours behind. So for the show, he's got to get up at what time? 4 a.m. on a Saturday. That's not fun for a single guy. So Nate, I appreciate what you do, and you're always there for us. You've done you've been a big part of the vision of this from the beginning. You have great writing. You're a fabulous writer. I love reading your columns. I look forward to them. And you cover a lot of different stuff. You guys do golf, which, is like, I don't even know how you do that. You pick race drivers or something in NASCAR or whatever it is. I mean, some of the things you guys get to is just beyond my scope. But Nate, you've shown tremendous leadership this year with us in building the company. You're always there. You're kind of the mainstay. And I thank you for your dedication and hard work, Nate. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Dedication and hard work. It's important that I get a good night's sleep. Before we get too far along, why don't you just talk about what MyPillow is doing for people right now? Before we get into
I did all my Christmas shopping on MyPillow. Like, this is like, if you're a guy, this is like the easiest thing to do. Now, Christmas is over, but for you can't get it in time. Obviously, it's Monday. But you go to MyPillow.com right now. You got sales up to 71% off. Slippers. Unbelievable. Just my son's got a pair, Ann's got a pair, Jack's got a pair, Claire's got a pair. I've got 3 pair case because I travel with them. Now, you go on an airplane, my slipper, you don't have to deal with the shoes. You take them off, you put them back on, you feel fine. All the products there are fantastic. The down comforter, 60% off right now, and free shipping through January 5th. So you got a real opportunity. Just go to mypillow.com, promo code FUN. That's promo code FUN. That's the promo code for our show here. Mike Lindell, owner of My Pillow, watches Godzilla Wins. This is entertainment for the week. And he's probably on now. So thank you, Mike. But just go to Godzilla Wins. Go to mypillow.com, promo code FUN, F-U-N, because it is fun here. Promo code FUN. You're going to get up to 71% savings, and everything you buy from Mike Lindell is going to be a great product. They have so many. The towels, like now you go to a hotel, you try to dry yourself with those towels. It's like yuck, right? Because you got the My Pillow towels, got the slippers, got the down comforter, and don't forget the pillows, which I sleep on all my pillows. Joseph has them all in his dorm. He's set to go. He's got the mattress topper. He's ready to go. MyPillow.com, promo code FUN. Best thing you're ever going to do, up to 71% off right now, and free shipping through January 5th.
And now we're back to where we started, which is let's talk about the Bills and the Chargers. Okay, Bills and Chargers. We have the Bills traveling across the country. They're a 12-point favorite to recap over the Chargers, who are in complete disarray. They fired Brandon Staley finally about a year too late. Easton Stick is taking over at quarterback while Justin Herbert nurses an injury. The total is 44 points. What do we think about the Bills here, John? Are they going to roll the Chargers?
Yeah, this team's done. Hey, first of all, why didn't they make Kellen Moore head coach? I thought he was your guy on Dallas, right? He's the offense coordinator. Oh, that's because they scored 6 points, then got shut out, then scored 3. Okay, got it. So he's out. He's not going to be He's not going to be back. This team is in complete disarray. The game that what was it? The Thursday night game or Monday night game where they just quit in the first half. It was really embarrassing. For a Chargers fan, to see your team there on a marquee game just quit, not tackle, don't want to play, not good. This team has got real issues. Look, I bet against Buffalo last week. No, I'm done with that. Everybody was right. I was wrong. This team's on a roll right now. I just don't see the Chargers here coming out to play with any intensity. Buffalo now thinks they can win the conference, maybe win the division, maybe win the conference, maybe go to the Super Bowl. They're on a roll. I'm going to lay the 12.
It's been ugly. James, what do you think? Is there reason for hope in LA?
No, I agree with both of what you guys have said. I mean, these teams are going in completely different directions. Buffalo has won 3 or 4. Chargers have dropped 3 or 4. Buffalo is coming over that romping of the Cowboys, 31-10 last week. While we know the Chargers lost 63-21 against Las Vegas. So Buffalo is 8-4 in their last 12 versus AFC West teams, while the Chargers are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. 3-5 in their last 9 versus AFC East, and 2-10 in their last 12 Saturday games. So I am going to go with the Bills and the large spread as well.
This is where I go against everyone, and I tell you about how bad a team is and how just in total disarray, shambles organizationally. Who the hell knows what's going to happen moving forward for the Chargers? They don't seem willing to spend any money on coaching. They don't seem to be willing to spend any money on sort of development. This team is a mess, and it's probably starts at the top and down. That being said, it's often useful. The NFL is the biggest betting market in American sports. It's often useful to think of these sort of as a market, and you sort of think about how teams are valued, and you try and sort of sell high and buy low. If there's ever a sell high moment for the Bills, it's probably now after their dominant win against the Cowboys, which I sort of was worried would happen. I sort of expected to happen. The Bills, the market seems to be valuing them as about the 3rd best team in the league right now, probably just behind San Francisco and Baltimore. But I don't think, there's many teams that the Vegas betting market is thinking are better than the Bills right now. In this moment, the Chargers have basically bottomed out. I mean, giving up 63 to the Raiders, a team that hadn't scored a touchdown in multiple weeks coming into that game, is about as bad as it gets. I'm surprised they let Brandon Staley fly back with the team. This just has to be the Chargers for me. All of that said, that's why I'm betting the Chargers, because nobody is believing in them. Chargers plus 12, I guess. Bills can't be any hotter. Chargers can't be any worse. Nothing gold can stay. I'll take the Chargers plus points. lines here. So, all right. So we got you guys on.
Well, that's a ballsy pick. I mean, that's a really a ballsy pick. I have to compliment you for doing that. I mean, on the others, because just to enhance what you're saying, a lot of times when a team gets embarrassed, a lot of times they come back and play very, very good the next week because they've been embarrassed. That's the only hesitation I've got here is that they come out and they say, okay, we got made fun of for, what was that, a Thursday night game or something? We got made fun of for 10 days, made fun of by everybody, fired the coaches, fired this, and everybody said we quit. These are professionals. I mean, they're professional ball players. And so, and you also got to say, okay, Buffalo's going across the country. They're overlooking them. They had the big win against was it Dallas? There's a letdown coming. Normally I would buy into that, but you can't let down when you're hanging by a thread to make the playoffs. There's just no time for that. So that's kind of why I like the Bills here. But Nate, if this game was, Buffalo by 3 or 6 and LA covered, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. All right. We are moving along. We are moving to Christmas Eve games. You may be thinking to yourself, hey, wait, the Steelers play the Bengals today. Yes, that's true, and we'll be covering that at 6:30 when Mitch Rogers, our man on the scene for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is joining us. So we're going to skip ahead to the Christmas Eve games. We'll start off with the Indianapolis Colts coming off a pretty good win last week against the Steelers, taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who are coming off pretty much one of the more pathetic losses of the season as they fell 7-9 to the Carolina Panthers, who kicked 3 field goals to beat them in walk-off fashion. The Atlanta Falcons are unbelievably a 2.5-point favorite in this game. It's a little bit juiced up. It's minus 115 right now, and the total is set at 45.5. James, why don't you tell us what's to like about the Falcons?
I was surprised to see that. I was like, wow, really? But first of all, I'm gonna go with the Colts here. They are 5-1 in their last 6 overall, 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 versus Atlanta, 6-3 in their last 9 December games. And here's a little fun fact I came across here. It seems that Atlanta has just scored a touchdown in the first quarter just once in their last 7 games. So, and prior to their last week against Carolina, opponents had scored 25 or more points against them in 4 of their previous 6 outings. And those things combined with the fact that Atlanta is 3-10 against the spread in the last 13 and 1-7 against AFC teams, I am going to go with the Colts to cover this small spread here.
John, why do you like the Colts and you never like the Colts? Why do you like the Colts?
I mean, can you seriously sit here and bet Atlanta? They don't have a quarterback, and Jack's been saying this for some time. What's the guy's name from Cincinnati?
Desmond Ridder.
Ritter, right?
He's on the bench again.
Jack's been wherever. No, he was with Cincinnati.
Yeah,
wasn't he? Yeah. Ritter came from the Bearcats. I mean, he's not an NFL quarterback. And sometimes you just got to come to this realization. RG3, you have to come to realization, not an NFL quarterback. Malik Willis, Liberty, not an NFL quarterback. I mean, you just got to own up to this stuff. It is what it is. This guy's not an NFL quarterback. I mean, that game with the Falcons got beat last week by Carolina. Unbelievable. Team sucks. And now I'm going to lay 2.5. What? Excuse me? I'm going to lay 2.5? Like, you got to be kidding me. I love the Colts in this game. This is going to be a blowout. I don't say that a lot in the NFL, but that game for Atlanta is a season killer. And Colts are going to win this game. They're playing good football. And look, I'm not a Minshew guy, but he seems to be winning games. I don't know, whatever. Think they get beat the first round in the playoffs if they get in, but Colts are winning games that Atlanta's not. Colts are playing inspired football. Falcons, what the hell's wrong with this team? I'm going to go with Indy plus 2.5.
I mean, gosh, this game just feels like a trap, doesn't it? I mean,
yes.
my head tells me if it looks like a trap and feels like a trap, it's probably a trap. There's no
Yes.
way that Atlanta should be favored, but they are. But I just can't get over how bad Atlanta has looked. I know that Desmond Ritter's on the bench now. They're turning once again to Taylor Heineke, which is the situation that no head coach loves to be in, which is just benching one mediocre quarterback for another in hopes that they'll be less mediocre. But the Falcons look like they're in disarray. I mean, Arthur Smith single-handedly lost a lot of people fantasy football championships last week, knocked people out of the playoffs by benching Bijan Robinson after a first quarter fumble. My head tells me I should bet the Falcons here, but I just can't do it. I mean, the Colts
can't
just
do it.
look so much better.
You just can't do it.
The Falcons are just such a mess. So I guess we're unanimous. We all like the Colts, which probably means we're all suckers, but
Yeah, well, but you can't do it. You can still be a sucker, and just there's certain things in life you can't do. And you say, I just can't do that, right? Like I can't do it. So yeah, I can't do that. So it's kind of like, yeah, maybe the Falcons will win, but I'm going to bet the Colts anyway because like I can't bring myself to hit that button that says where you have to hit the team on DraftKings where you got to hit the Falcons. I can't bring my finger to do that. No way. I'm even if they lose, I'm still betting the Colts.
Yeah. All right. So we are moving right along here. We have another fun game here. We got Green Bay Packers taking on the Carolina Panthers, the suddenly frisky Panthers who are coming off a win last week against the Falcons. John, why don't you just lead off on this one? I mean, this is
Green Bay. Look, they won a game. The Falcons suck. We already know that. They won a game. Okay, yeah. Now they go home. If Jordan Love can't beat this team, maybe he was a flash in the pan, but nobody liked the Packers' play last week. This week, though, I think they go to Carolina. They're kind of still in the hunt somehow. Maybe they sneak in the playoffs, but they've got to win this game in Carolina. The problem with Bryce Young is, I mean, even that win last week, they got 3 field goals. They don't score any points. Their offensive line is pitiful. And again, not their fault. They got a bunch of injuries. Their offensive line is pitiful. This is just a really bad football team with a win over another really bad football team, right? So they got their 2 wins. Now, as a Titans fan, I hope they win out. Yay, win out, go, so I get a better pick, right? Yeah, go Carolina, whatever your name is, Charlotte, yay. But Packers are going to come in here, win this game. I'm going with the Pack minus the 4.
James, I have a hard time seeing you bet on the Packers, but it is against the Panthers.
Yeah, it's gonna kind of be similar to what you did, like with the Chargers game a few minutes ago. So I'm gonna set up in one direction and go in the opposite direction, actually, because I'm looking at Green Bay has dropped the last 2 games as the favorites, and we know Carolina is coming off an ugly win as 2.5-point dogs.
Ugly.
And Green Bay has dropped 5 of the last 6 road games and have failed to cover in 4 of their previous 5 outings. And here's a little nugget, not that I think that this is applicable here, but in their last 7 against Carolina, Green Bay is just 2-5 against the spread. But on the flip side of the narrative, they're also 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 December games, while Carolina is 4-8 against the spread in their last 12 overall and 2-7 in their last 9 week 16 contests. So I am going to go with Green Bay to cover in this one.
I'll be the dissenter then. I kind of like the Panthers. I'll keep it short because we are sort of running a little bit behind, but I like the Panthers here. If there's any defense that can make Bryce Young look at least competent, it's probably the way that Green Bay's playing lately. Football Outsiders has them as the 29th ranked defense. They can't stop the run or the pass right now. Baker Mayfield played them last week and had probably the greatest game of his NFL career to date against Green Bay. So if there's ever a team that could, if the Panthers can score against anyone, it's probably Green Bay right now. So I like the Panthers to kind of hang around. I don't know if they win, but 4 seems like too many. So, okay, let's keep it moving. We will go straight to Browns versus Texans. We got Cleveland Browns are a 3-point road favorite, minus 105 against the Houston Texans, who are +3. We have a total set at 40. James, lead the way here on the Browns. We're going to Houston.
I'm kind of conflicted here. I know the Browns have the league's top defense, and they were pretty stout against Chicago last week. But the one thing that I'm kind of having trouble with is that they're 7-1 at home compared to 2-4 on the road. Defense, they're much better at home, allowing 13 points a game versus 30.7 points a game on the road. But despite that, I think I'm gonna go with the Browns here. But those few trends do worry me a little bit.
John?
No, this is easy. Browns -3. They just got a better defense. Half the Houston team's out. Hey, I got a news flash, Texans. You're not playing the Titans again, who basically hand games to the other team. Like, here's the game. Here it is. Just take it. Oh, you don't want to take it? Well, we'll hand it to you again. That's basically what Tennessee does week in and week out. They're perfect. They absolutely suck this season. It's been a horrible season for them. The whole team is a disaster. So, you know what? So they won last week. Shouldn't have won that game. Now they go home. They still got half a team. They still don't have a quarterback. And you're playing a Cleveland team that has one of the best defenses in the NFL. No way they're going to score here or anything. I love the Browns here -3. I just think they're a better team. And you just got to go with that defense. Cleveland -3.
This is going to be a no pick for me. I mean, it's just hard to say what the Texans are going to look like. CJ Stroud looks like he's probably going to miss the game. They already have Tank out for the season. Nico Collins is also hurt. Looks like Will Anderson on defense is hurt. The injury report is just crazy for Houston right now, so I can't bet on them. At the same time, the road splits are worrying for the Cleveland defense that has been gashed whenever they've gone on the road to even some pretty mediocre offenses like Indy and Denver. So this is a no pick for me. But
no pick, Nate.
Yeah, no pick, Nate. I'm not gambling here, but I might want to gamble at Rosie's. John, talk to us about Rosie's and where we can gamble there.
I got to go to Rosie's, man. If you're in Virginia, do you know Rosie's? Do you realize that if you go to Rosie's, do you know that they have the biggest jackpot payouts in the country on slot machines? The biggest, better than Vegas, better than Reno, better than wherever you go, better than the Indian casinos. Why? Because their jackpots are the biggest and the payouts are the biggest. Why at Rosie's? Because the state legislature of Virginia, when they gave them the license, they reduced the cut that the government and Rosie's could take. Therefore, you get a bigger payout. This is a no-brainer. Rosie's is the most fun thing to do. Ann and I going to Virginia over the holiday, see some friends. First thing we're going to do, date night at Rosie's. They got Hampton. They got Richmond right by our studio. Colonial Downs, I moved my whole operation there over the summer. Maybe we'll get Nate there, right? That's in New Kent. We got Vinton by Roanoke. We got Dumfries in Northern Virginia, putting up a big hotel there. That's going to be fun. You got Emporia. You got Collinswood just by Danville. Rosie's is the fun place to go. Biggest jackpots, biggest payouts. We got so many winners going crazy there. What's right by our studio? Check this out. The food is great. And if you don't want to play the slots, that's fine. You go upstairs, you got OTB. You go upstairs, you got online football, basketball, right? All the online athletics there. So you can do it. All the TVs are there. It's a great place to go. The food is excellent. It's just a fun place. I love taking Ann there. We have so much fun. It is one of our most fun places to go. Everything, and it's a service. It's clean. Nothing like you've ever experienced. They've kind of reinvented this whole casino thing because it's very different. It's not the smoke you get and all that. Very, very different. Check this out. Go to rosiesgaming.com, rosiesgaming.com. Big shout out to the guy that kind of set this culture, the vision. Nate Mize, their marketing director, said, you know what? We're going to have casinos here, but they're going to be different. They're going to be fun. The payouts are going to be bigger. They're going to be cleaner. The service is going to be phenomenal. And that's the way we're going to do this. He's done it. Guy's brilliant. And it's the most fun place to go. You're in Virginia, all over the state, rosiesgaming.com.
We are back to the NFL. We're still going through the 1 p.m. slate for Christmas Eve. All of these games are close. Everything's basically line priced around a field goal. We have the Detroit Lions headed to Minnesota. The Detroit Lions are a 3-point favorite. The total is over under 47.5. John, why do we like the Lions here?
What's the alternative? I mean, what's the alternative to the Lions here, right? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And Detroit, like I think I faded them last week, and it was a blowout, right? So they were losing. I forget. I bet the other team I lost. I don't even remember who they played, but
they destroyed the Broncos.
Yeah, this is a streaky team, man. You just don't know what to. Thanksgiving, and I bet them they get blown out. Then they get beat. Then they win. You fade them. They who the hell knows, right? And Minnesota, they just keep winning games. They got no quarterback. They got nobody, right? Hobbs is gone, or whatever his name is, Dobbs or whatever. I got to go with the Lions here, -3, and I just think they're a better team, and maybe you catch them here in a roll. Detroit -3.
I like Detroit -3 as well. Jared Goff is playing his next basically the rest of his season indoors. Jared Goff is a well-known indoor god at quarterback. That's where he does all of his best work. That's where he did his best work last week. It's where he's going to continue to work. As inside, the NFL seems trying to stymie Jared Goff's greatness by stopping outdoor stadiums. I see that's in the works. So no more indoor stadiums kind of moving forward. But in the meantime, Jared Goff will continue to feast inside. James, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions as well. 14-6 against the spread in their last 20, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 versus Minnesota, 9-3 over their last 12 road games, and 11-3 in their last 14 against divisional opponents. So I like the Lions at 3 as well.
Moving right along, game that is near and dear to James's heart. I will let him take the lead on this. We have the 3-11 Arizona Cardinals doing battle with the 5-9 Chicago Bears. Chicago's a 4-point favorite right now, it looks like. Are they? And total set at 43. Who do we like here? This is one of the few games that I've actually bet my hard-earned dollars on this week. So I'll let you guys lead first before I give you my pick. James, who do we like?
Okay. So Arizona 1-5, their last 6 against NFC teams. 2-6 in their last December. In their last 8 December games. Chicago is 6-3 in their last 9 week 16 games. Chicago has any hopes of winning. They have to stick to their strengths, which is both stopping the run and running the football. What I will also throw out there is you may want to consider going with the under here, as it has hit 6 of last 7 times since for Chicago, and it has hit 5 times in each last 5 road games for Arizona. I'm picking Chicago to cover only because they bailed me out by covering last week, although they didn't cover the way I would have liked, but giving up another.
Well, wait, did you win the bet? Did you cash the ticket?
I did bet them to cover. I did,
and they did, right?
And they covered. They covered.
It doesn't matter what the score is, right? There's only my father Sam taught me and Jack one thing in life. There's only 2 kinds of tickets: those you cash and those you throw in the garbage. You cash the ticket, it's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, based on that, I'm gonna pick them to cover this week after covering against a very stout Browns defense last week.
John, who do you like?
I'm going to defer to Nate because he says he's actually betting this game, and I have no friggin' idea who's going to win this game. I could care less. So I'm going to give my time to Nate. Go ahead, Nate. Whatever you're going to pick, put it on Daily Picks, and I'm going to bet them. Go ahead.
I love the Bears here. Cardinals just stink. I think that the Bears will be able to move the ball pretty easily against this Cardinals defense, which has just been terrible. This is mostly a bet on. I think Chicago's defense is getting a lot better. Since that big trade, since week 10, they've been a top 5 defensive unit. That's just the bottom line. I don't think that's just statistical weirdness. I think that their defense is taking huge strides. So I like the Bears here to get sort of a convincing win against the Cardinals that just seem to be sort of struggling to find their way. All right. We are moving right along. We have the last game of this little segment before we say goodbye to James and let him get back to his family. We have and stop spending time with us. We have the Seahawks taking the Titans in a game that very few people care about except for John. John, what do you like here? The Seahawks are a 3.5-point road favorite against the Tennessee Titans. The total is 41.5. I know you're picking the Titans, but I don't know why. Tell us.
Oh, wait a second. I just put my bet in for the Bears because you told me to do that. So I'm gonna ride you here, buddy. I'm gonna ride you because I've never seen you this excited about picking a game in my life. Because you're very deadpan. Yeah, like this, maybe that. When Nate says, "Hey, I made one bet this week, and that's Bears -4." That's all I need to know. I just put my bet in on DraftKings. Now, what was your question?
Why did the Titans cover this week against the Seahawks?
Oh, we suck. We're not going to cover. Come on. This team is so bad. I'm going to bet him because I faded him. I faded him one time against Miami. They win the whole game. This team. This is the worst Titans season I can remember in a very long time because we thought we were okay. Now, there were seasons where we won 2 or 3 games and we knew we sucked, so you kind of take it on the chin. The other tough thing as a Titans fan here is I've been spoiled, right? Like the last 7-8 years, they've been in the hunt right to the final week, whether they got knocked out by Indianapolis on a Sunday night in the rain or something, but they've been in the hunt. Now we're knocked out. We got nothing to play for but pride, what the hell that means, at home, plus 3.5. Seattle's got to win this game. I hope we lose. So, I'm going to pick the Titans because I can't fade my team, but I hope we lose so that we get a better draft pick. Now it doesn't matter. I mean, you're out of it. Pride, knocking people out. Hey, I want a better draft pick. Go Seattle.
James, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Titans here, actually. Seattle was 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 versus Tennessee, 2-6 in their last 8 December games.
Hey, what's 2-6? Whoa.
Meanwhile, Tennessee is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games versus Seattle, and they're also 5-1 in their last 6 versus NFC West teams. So based on those trends,
that was when they were good. Plus, I mean, they got Treylon Burks is hurt again, right? That's like an every other week thing. He's hurt again. Who else is hurt? Big Jeff Simmons is out. Who the hell knows? Bunting is out. Half the team doesn't even want to play. Maybe they cover at home, but let's hope Seattle wins this game. I hope the Titans lose out. Then we get like a 5th round pick, 4th round pick. Maybe we get somebody that actually blocks somebody, right? That'll be a shocker. So hope we lose out.
This is a no pick for me. I mean, I just don't know who's playing quarterback for either team. Drew Lock. There seems to be some quarterback controversy in Seattle after he came off the bench and rallied the troops in that win against Philly last week. Will Levis is recovering from injury. There's no real reason for the Titans to trot him out there if he's
not going to play. He's not going to play. In fact, what they need to do is put Malik in. Tannehill's done. Why risk injury? Put Malik in. Run the football. Just end this nightmare, but you're right. Levis is not going to play.
So just too much uncertainty for me. So it's a no play for me. James, thank you as always for taking some time out of your day to come chop it up with us about football. Merry Christmas to you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me as always. I hope you and your families have a Merry Christmas as well. Appreciate the time, guys.
Merry Christmas, James.
Merry Christmas.
And we are welcoming Mitch Rogers, our man in the stands for the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if those stands are from his couch watching him on TV most of the time. Mitch, welcome to the show. We're just going to lead off with the big game. We skipped it earlier. It's the first game of this sort of crazy NFL Christmas weekend. This game will be kicking off at 4:30 Eastern time today. The Bengals are a 3-point road favorite against the Steelers, who are +3 at home. Total is very low at 38.5. Mitch, take the floor. Who do we like? This is actually one of the only. I only have like 2 bets pending, and this is the second one. So I like the Bears earlier, and I like a team here. But Mitch, lead the way for us.
I think 1 month ago when Jake Browning took over, I said the Bengals had no shot, and the Steelers were 7-4. They looked like a lock for the playoffs. The Bengals looked like they had no chance after losing to the Steelers a month ago. And wow, how it's flipped. Jake Browning has been spectacular for the Bengals. And when I'm looking at the Steelers and all their quarterback woes, and then you see someone come off the bench and just be able to perform, so the system, the coaching is good over there. The Bengals are without Jamar Chase. That's a big deal. So Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are going to have to step up a little bit. I faded my team last week. It felt awful. It was disgusting, and it was the right call. It was the right call. We lost, but I think there's something prophetic. There's something Christmassy about Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed quarterback coming in. So I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I'm 1 week away from where you're at, John. If they lose this week, then just lose the rest of them. I want a good draft pick. But right now, they're still mathematically alive, and I have all the hope, especially around the holidays. So I'm going to go with the Steelers +3. I'm going to take the points, and I'm going to go with the over. I think there's going to be a couple points scored.
John, what do you like here?
Well, that game last week, Mitch, was painful. I was watching. I was texting.
You were texting me.
Mitch,
you were texting. I know.
Incessantly during the game. I bet the Steelers. I think I got 2.5 or something, 1.5, or it was even. I don't remember. But I bet the Steelers. Yeah, I'm sitting in Rivers Casino, which, by the way, has the best sports book in the country. It's just massive TVs. And of course, you're in Rivers Casino with Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh's on the biggest screen in the middle. So you got all the Steelers fans there. So it's an electric atmosphere. And they're up 13-0. They blocked that punt. And just pathetic. I mean, the team, it was one of the most painful losses I ever took in the shorts. Just watching the team, not stopping the Bengals on play after play, third downs, guys open all over the field. It was unbelievable. And you just look at this team and you're like, how are they this bad when they were 7-4? And, and they're supposed to be the team in December. After watching that game, I can't do it. I just can't do it again. Maybe look, Rudolph's got to be better than that guy you had in, that Trubisky. He's pathetic. I mean, the whole team is. And then I like the coach. I like the organization, but that game last week it just tore. If you're betting the Steelers, just tore your guts out watching that thing up 13-0, and they had the ball. So I'm going to go with the Bengals here -3. Sorry, Mitch.
No, I understand.
I love the Steelers here. This is just the ultimate Mike Tomlin spot. This is the only.
He hasn't won a game in December. It's December 23rd. He hasn't won a game.
I know, and that's why I love him even more. I mean, the trends are just. I just can't get off the Tomlin underdog trends. After week 5, Tomlin is outrageous in the underdog against the spread. He covers almost 70% just regularly. After week 5, when he's at home after week 5, as he's 15-4-1 as an underdog against the spread. 21-5-1 in divisional games against the spread. If he loses by 7 or more points the next week, they're 9-1 against the spread. I mean, everything points towards this Tomlin bouncing this team back, even though it looks like they are just cooked. I'm just not willing to give up on them. I don't think they're cooked quite yet, even though those losses, I mean, Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts 3 in a row lose to is that's bad, but things are still recoverable. The run offense looks really good. Matchup wise, this feels good to me. Cincinnati can't stop the run at all. Since the Steelers fired Matt Canada, they've been pretty much a top 5 rushing offense as near as I can tell. So I like the Steelers to bounce back here and get right against the Bengals. So I'm a Steelers fan this week.
Tomlin and his 500 record continue.
Yeah, I mean, he just does enough.
But Nate, when he was winning all those games in December, he had some semblance of a quarterback and some semblance of an offense.
I know, and that's always the tough part of parsing through some of these trends. I mean, the Belichick trends I've basically given up on without Tom Brady.
You just throw them out. I mean, same thing. Same thing with the Vrabel trends right now, because his team is just pathetic. It's just horrible. But the thing that bothered me about Pittsburgh last week was not Trubisky. Okay, he sucks. We all know that going in. Like I kept texting Mitch. I'm like, do you guys have any semblance of a secondary here? I mean, this guy 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 9. Guys wide open, one after the other.
They're on their fifth strong safety.
They have no secondary. I mean, it was just, and they made Jason Browning last week. Or who was it? I'm sorry. Who did they play?
Minshew. Gardner
They
Minshew.
made Gardner Minshew look like Joe Namath.
No.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And they couldn't get pressure on him. This guy's wide open. It's like when you don't have a secondary and, you see the kind of separation that the Colts were getting last week on 3rd and longs. How do you get the kind of separation? Guys wide open in the middle of the field, guys wide open on the edge, holes in the defense. No, I just don't see it. That's my issue right now. It's their defense.
Yeah, me too.
We are moving right along, and we are a little bit behind, so I'm going to try and keep some of these kind of quicker. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's looking like there's still some uncertainty about Trevor Lawrence's injury status. Jaguars are plus 1.5 right now. The total is over under 42. Lawrence has been practicing, but still needs to get through the concussion protocol before he's cleared to play. The Buccaneers have been playing pretty decent football. This is like, the Baker Mayfield sort of renaissance here after some pretty tough stints with some other teams in recent memory. John, what do we like in this game?
You're short on time. I'll go fast. Tampa Bay minus 1.5 at home. They're gonna win this game. They're gonna win the division. See you, Jacksonville.
Mitch?
I'm gonna go with the same way. I'm on the Baker Mayfield train right now. Buccaneers are hot. What a difference! 7-7 for one team versus another it's amazing, right? They're gonna win the division. I agree with John there. I'm gonna go with the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm leaning Tampa Bay too. The way this is priced right now, it looks like the market is expecting Lawrence not to play. I doubt it moves too much further away from Jacksonville right now. So I'd probably wait to play Tampa on the off chance that Lawrence gets cleared to play. Then you might be able to snag Tampa as a little bit of an underdog, and I kind of like to play a little bit more. Just matchup wise, Lawrence struggles against the blitz. Tampa blitzes all the time. So I like Tampa as well. John, talk to us about Healthy Cell.
I tell you what, REM sleep, Mitch, you need to be taking this really, because I get about during the week, I get about 6.5 hours. It's got to be the best sleep ever. Joe's on it, Jack's on it, Claire's on it, half of Joe's baseball team's on it, all natural. 50 minutes before you go to bed, you just down this, you rip it off, tastes good. 15 minutes, you go to sleep. But here's the thing about REM sleep, all natural sleep support. All 4 stages of sleep is what it supports. You take one of those over-the-counter things, like whatever they call it, Sominex or Melatonin or Melatonin or something.
Melatonin.
Yeah, whatever. They'll help you fall asleep, but then that's it. See, what this does is all 4 stages, and you're going to dream. You were going to, like last night, I had so many dreams last night. Now I got 7.5 hours last night, so I'm like a new man, right? But I take my REM sleep, get 7.5 hours sleep, dream all night. I have no idea what the dreams are, but that means you're in the deepest sleep and you look refreshed. That's why when you tune me in at 6 a.m. every day on Get Her Live, you say, how do you do this? You get up every day, you look like fresh as a daisy, you got all this energy. REM sleep, baby. All you got to do is go to healthycell.com/Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. Get your REM sleep now, right? Get it now. Jack's taking it. Of course, he's in Colorado. He's on a ski resort while our sorry asses are out here working. Merry Christmas, Jack, on your ski resort with your girlfriend. I hope you're taking your REM sleep with you, which I got you. Everybody's getting this. healthycell.com/Godzilla. REM sleep, 20% off with Godzilla. Promo code, 20% off. Got to change your life.
We are moving along. We got 16 minutes and 6 games, so we're gonna have to kind of
let's go.
Move relatively quickly here. But we got the Washington Commanders taking on the New York Jets. The Jets are a 3-point favorite over the Commanders in a battle between 2 teams that are already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. The total is at 37. If anyone wants to watch this game and they have a sickness and cannot help themselves from betting every game on the board, which side should they bet here, Mitch?
Yeah, one of my good friends is a beat reporter for the Skins or the Commanders, and he is just rooting for the draft picks. They've mailed it in, and now the Jets have no hope. Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back. What are they gonna do? I have no idea. I'm gonna go with the Jets just because I think they're playing for a little bit harder for some reason. I don't know why. I'm gonna go Jets -3.
John?
Jets -3. You just can't bet the Commanders. Mitch is right. They mailed it in.
Yeah.
Jets are at home, and they still got some pride. They're playing for they do have a good defense. Washington's collapsed, so you got to go with the Jets here.
This is a big old mess. I mean, it looks like Brissett might be starting over Howell for the Commanders. Trevor Simeon's getting the nod for the Jets. I mean, who wants to bet on either of these quarterbacks? I can't really justify betting the Jets as a favorite. I mean, you're talking about a team that averaged 0.1 yards per play in the first half last week. That's bad. That's not moving the ball. So, I mean, just find something else to bet. But yeah, if you must, I guess the Jets are probably the play. All right, moving along. This is a big game. This is probably the premier game of the sort of Christmas Eve slate. We got the Dallas Cowboys as 2-point road underdogs to the Miami Dolphins. The total is pretty high for an NFL total at 49.5. John, are the Cowboys going to get right against the Dolphins, or does this losing streak continue?
You know, one of our writers in his column this week on Godzilla Wins, go to GodzillaWins.com, had the best line about this game. He said, both teams are complete frauds. Which of the two frauds are going to be the biggest fraud? That was one of the best lines on Godzilla Wins. And as one of our football writers, off the top of my head, I can't think of his name. You can check him out. Go to GodzillaWins.com. Nate can remind me in a minute. Mm-hmm. But both these teams are frauds. I think the Dolphins are a bigger fraud. You know, you go to Dallas, got blown out again last week. It's like, what you go on a road, you get blown out, you just get embarrassed week after week. I mean, at some point, this team has got to show up on the road, because you're going to get eliminated in the first round if you don't get a home game. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you have a good football team. Go to Miami, win this game, shut the naysayers up. Because the game against Buffalo was an embarrassment. It was, if you're a Cowboys fan like Nate is, you just got to be embarrassed by the whole thing. I'm going to take a shot here with the least of the two fraud teams and go with Dallas and 2.
Mitch, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't think either team are frauds. I mean, I think I think they're growing. I mean, the Dolphins are so young, and I think week to week they learn from their mistakes and they get better. The Cowboys last week against the Bills was crazy. Like you just don't expect the team that good at home to be able to just collapse when they go on the road. I think they start figuring that out. I think the Cowboys can really legitimately make a run for the Super Bowl title. The only way to do that is to be able to win some games on the road. And I think this is their signature road win. I'm going to go with the Cowboys and the points.
Yeah, I mean, last week's loss to the Bills seemed predictable. It was an obvious letdown spot after destroying the Eagles the week before. You know, always tough to go on the road this late in the season, especially to Buffalo where it's cold and you're not really accustomed to that playing in Arlington. This game, cold will not be an issue in Miami. I think this is probably a spot where they get right. Miami's got a lot of injuries on the offensive line. Their offensive line is not going to bully the Cowboys like the Bills' offensive line did. Dallas still has an elite pass rush. They will get after Tua. Matchup wise, it just favors the Cowboys. So I like the Cowboys here as well. Okay, moving on, keeping it going. Patriots Broncos. We were all waiting for this game. This is the nightcap game on Christmas Eve. So 8:15, presents have been open, sitting around maybe with a nice glass of whiskey, turn it on to watch a little football, thinking you'll get a good game, and then you get the Patriots and the Broncos. The Patriots are plus 7.5 point underdogs on the road at Denver. The total is almost hilariously low at 35.5. Mitch,
this is my best. This is my best bet of the week.
John, take it away, I guess. John can't.
This is my best. John, go ahead, this is my best bet of the week. I love Denver in this game. They are going to win, and I would say, if you think his team is absolutely going to win the game, and then it's a matter of how many they win by. Patriots don't score. Denver's got a good defense. The Pats thing is another thing that's a complete disaster. Belichick's out. What are they playing for? They got to fly to Denver on Christmas. Like Merry freaking Christmas, right? Let's go to Denver on Christmas. What was it? Christmas night, Christmas Eve, whatever it is, Christmas night. I mean, what excuse me? Like, I got to go to Denver and do what? I just want to go home with my family. Blowout. Denver. They're gonna expunge the disaster from last week and win this game. I like Denver minus 7.5.
I like the Broncos to win the game, but I can't see any 8-point victory. I don't see a 21-13. I see like 21-17. I'm going to go with the Patriots and the points. Broncos win, but they keep it close. But I'm with you. But for some reason, this Patriots team has decided to win a couple games to end the year, and so I can't count them out. But I just don't see 8 points for Denver. So I'm gonna go with Patriots. But Broncos are gonna win the game, but the Patriots are gonna cover.
Yeah, I mean 6.5. I might be willing to lay the points with Denver. 6, I'd probably lay the points with Denver. 7.5, where it is now. I think I just got to go Pats. I mean, the Pats defense is still good.
Yeah.
Denver's going to struggle to run the ball against them. They're going to become one-dimensional. Trying to cover over a touchdown spread when you're relying almost solely on the arm of Russell Wilson right now isn't really where I'd want to be as a bettor. So, if Bailey Zappi can just not turn the ball over like a billion times in this game, I think that New England probably finds a way to just sort of hang around in what will be almost certainly a really low-scoring game.
Didn't the Patriots get shut out by the Chargers 2 weeks ago at home, 6-0? Is that a different Patriots team? Did they get a bunch of players back on offense at home? Chargers go to New England, lousiest team in the NFL right now. Shut the Patriot out 6-0 3 weeks ago. Now they're going to go to Denver. Now they're going to go to Denver in the snow on Christmas night, which they don't want to be there. And all of a sudden they're going to score 17. What? They just pull a rabbit out of a hat? Block punts or something? Come on, guys.
They did against the Steelers.
I think 3 to 10
21
is the expectation and cover. Okay. Let's move along. In another fun game, we got the Raiders playing the Chiefs. This is actually, now we're moving on to Christmas Day games. We got Christmas Day. This is the first thing Christmas Day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Raiders are 10.5-point road underdogs to the Chiefs. Totals at 41. John, why do you like the Chiefs to just roll the Raiders?
I'm not betting the Chiefs and laying 10.5. There's no way. This team is not any good. They're no good. I'm going with the Raiders here. I think this is going to be an upset. They're not any good. Why are they 10.5 over anybody except maybe LA Chargers or Patriots? I mean, they got 10.5. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Something's wrong with this team, guys. You guys keep betting the Chiefs. I'll tell you what, they're going to get through the first round of the playoffs. I don't care who they play. Jacksonville's going to beat them. I love the Raiders in this game plus 10.5. I think they're going to have fun, right? And Mark Davis sporting a new haircut on Christmas, right?
I do like that.
So you got to factor that in. Love the Raiders here, 10.5. I think they win the whole game.
Mitch, what do you think?
I'm kind of leaning with John here. I mean, I don't think the Chiefs can cover a 10.5-point spread against any team right now. Yeah. And who would have thought that Isaiah Pacheco would be the key factor for the Chiefs, and if they could actually cover a game, not Mahomes, it's their running attack, and he's banged up. He's probably going to play. I think the Chiefs win again, but I think they don't cover, and it's going to be a fun game. The Raiders are a fun team to watch right now.
Absolutely,
they can rush the passer with Crosby, and it's a rivalry game. I mean, it's a division game, so I'm going to take the Raiders, and this is one I'm going to actually call the bookie and bet on. I'm going to put my money on the Raiders in this one.
Go to DraftKings.com.
That's what I meant.
Go to DraftKings.com.
Bookie, you're gone. I'm going to DraftKings. Sorry.
Put in $5. Get $200 in free bets only with promo code Godzilla.
I like the Raiders too. Offense just looks broken for Kansas City. I just can't justify betting them and laying a huge spread in a divisional game. The Raiders seem oddly fired up since they fired Josh McDaniels. This just looks like a different team. So I like the Raiders too. All right, we got another divisional game here. Probably a little bit less charged. We got the Giants taking on the Eagles. Eagles are 13.5-point favorites at home against the Giants. Totals 43. Mitch, what do we like here? Is there anything to like in this game?
I mean, what's not to like, man? The DeVito Cutlet storyline is he doesn't want to be compared to the Sopranos anymore. He does not want the Italian thing happening anymore. That whole storyline's going away too. I'm actually writing the article for this game. I was writing it this morning, so I'm about to put my pick. But yeah, division game again. 13.5 is a lot of points. The Giants have been playing well the last month. I feel like it's a sucker bet to take the Giants, but I'm going to be a sucker here, and I'm going to take those points in the Giants just because those division rivalry games, they stay close.
They do.
Well, Tommy Cutler screwed that poor little pizza company in Morristown, New Jersey. So I'm kind of done with him. I mean, I'm from Morris County. I went to Madison High School, and then I went to Fairleigh Dickinson. So I know exactly where that town is. You don't screw the little Italian pizzeria guy. Right? You just don't do that, right? It's bad karma. Tommy Cutlets, right? Trying to squeeze another 10,000 out of a little business owner. Shame on you, right? You just don't, especially in New Jersey. They're the independent pizza place. You just don't do that to a family, right? So you can take your Tommy Cutlets and shove it up your ass. Eagles blowout. I'm going with the Eagles blowout. This is for you, pizza company in Morristown. This is for you, baby. Blow them out.
I kind of like the under here, I guess. I don't really want to play either side. This feels like it's probably going to be pretty low scoring. I'm not sure that Tommy DeVito is going to be able to take advantage of some pretty obvious problems with Philly's defense. Likewise, I think Jalen Hurts will probably struggle against the Giants defense, which can get some pressure on the quarterback. They do blitz a lot. Jalen Hurts is not awesome against the blitz, and he didn't look great last week, even though he's sort of recovering from illness. So I think it's kind of under or not at all for me. I have zero interest in laying this kind of spread in a divisional game, but I have less interest in betting the Giants. So no play for me. Finally, we got 3 minutes to discuss the biggest game on the whole schedule for the week. I mean, these are probably the two best teams in the NFL. This is, a clear sort of Super Bowl potentially preview. We have the Baltimore Ravens headed across the country to San Francisco. San Francisco is a 6-point favorite. They're covering machines. The total is over under 47. John, take the lead here. What is the way to bet this game?
I mean, you either believe in the Ravens or you don't, right? I mean, doesn't this really come down to this? You either believe in the Ravens or you don't. I believe in them, but not against San Francisco. You gotta ask yourself before you bet this game one question, okay? If this was a Super Bowl, who would you bet? Because it could be. Well, you're gonna bet the Niners because they're just a better team. Healthy, everybody coming back. Right now, they look unstoppable. Ravens up and down. I got to go with San Francisco here. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl, and I think what you're seeing is a very likely a Super Bowl preview matchup. San Francisco is going to win here, and then they're going to win again in February. So I like the Niners.
Mitch, who do you like?
I love this matchup. I mean, just from the MVP race. I mean, you have Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy. I mean, it is star-studded event here. The Ravens have the great equalizer against the 49ers if they can get it going, and that is utilizing all facets of their running attack. So if Lamar can get going, but also the running backs get going, that can nullify a lot of what the 49ers like to do. So I think they keep it close here. And again, I'm doing this, it's like my third one. I think the Niners win, but don't cover. So I am going, I hate the Ravens, by the way.
Of course. Goes without saying.
The Ravens are a great team. I think this is a Super Bowl preview. I'm taking the Ravens and the points, and I'm going to take the under.
All right. I like the over. I think both offenses will score some points. But that is it for today. Thank you for listening.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.